Hey guys, welcome to today's video, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you about the lean startup method. And I actually use this for my own startup, taking me from not knowing anything about software or software companies all the way up to a company that has a valuation in the tens of millions of dollars today. So what I wanted to talk about is how I used the lean startup method to start a company without raising money, without borrowing money, without going into a ton of debt, and starting a company that now is valued at over $10 million. Now, the lean startup method is exactly what it sounds like. It's the smartest way to go about building your startup without wasting a lot of resources or taking big risks that will put you in bad positions later on if things do not work out. And the key thing to remember here is efficiency. The lean startup method is all about efficiency and how efficient you can be from coming up with your idea to implementing your idea and even taking it to market. This method is really dialed into a feedback-driven approach to building a business. In the lean startup method, you'll learn to test your assumptions about the business, about the market, and how the business is going to be fit into the market, learning what your customers really want versus what you think they want, and adapting quickly every time you learn something new. Now, to help you guys understand the lean startup method and even break it down into how I used it, I broke this down into 3 simple steps that you'll just want to continue to repeat and repeat and repeat again. And I promise you guys, if you can do this, you'll learn a ton about your customer, a ton about the business, and your odds to be successful without taking huge risks with finance or taking huge risks in terms of spending other people's money. Now, I've broken this down into 3 simple steps for you guys that you'll continue to repeat and repeat and repeat again as your business grows. And by doing this, you're going to build your business in the most efficient way possible with the least amount of risk that can possibly be taken while building your business. These 3 steps are to build, measure, and learn. And let me dive a little bit deeper into each. First, let's talk about stage 1, build. This is where you likely have the idea for your business, a new product for your business, or even a new feature for your software. This is where you need to build the cheapest version of that product to test that hypothesis that you have about how it can fit into the market and solve somebody's needs, wants, or problem. This is where you will go out and create an MVP, otherwise known as a minimal viable product. A minimal viable product should be the cheapest, most simple version of the solution you're going to take to market. This is like a prototype. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to have all the kinks ironed out. You just need to get something out there, and it's not going to be perfect, but get it out there and get it to be able to be tested by your potential customers. And that leads me to stage number 2, which is measure. Here is where you take your minimal viable product or your MVP and you take it out into the real world and get real people to use it with the problem that you're trying to solve. Now, it's not enough to just launch your minimal viable product and see if people use it or not. This is where you really need to engage heavily with the customers that are using this minimal viable product, because this is where you should be really collecting as much data as you can to refine this and make this the dream solution for whatever problem you're solving. It is helpful to maybe come up with some key metrics that will help you measure how effective this product is solving the problem or addressing the need or the want before starting to take this to market. Because if you can identify what a success metric looks like and then ask targeted questions to make sure that you're solving all of these things, that is going to be key for you to be able to measure how well this minimal viable product is doing and how well it could be doing if it made a couple of changes or adjustments. And this is probably one of the most critical parts, as every piece of data you collect, every insight you collect is a peek inside your customer's head. And the most effective marketing and the most effective products know exactly what the customers are thinking and address the problems in the exact way that they would possibly want it, making it irresistible for people with that problem or that want or that need to not buy your product. They will have to buy it because it will be so irresistible to them if you can get inside their head. And collecting this data and measuring things while your risk is still low by creating a minimal viable product and being able to pivot before you perfect it is going to be critical. And this leads me to stage number 3, which is the learning stage. This is where you're going to take all of that data, all of the insights, and you're going to learn as much as you can after analyzing it. This is also a very, very critical step because you should be asking yourself questions like, are customers using your product the way that you expected? Are they using it as often as you might have expected? Do they find value in it? If so, what kind of value did they find? What would they be willing to pay? And regardless of if your product has good feedback or bad feedback, chances are you can make some adjustments to this minimal viable product and repeat the stage a few more times before investing heavily into the final version. Almost every time that I've gone through the build and measure stages, I have found something that we could improve for either little to no cost. And those little improvements have really been the game changer in terms of when we're showing our software to a potential user and we show them a special feature that we learned from direct customer feedback. That is usually the feature that they're the most impressed with. They're not impressed with all of our big features that we know that we need to build. There's these little details that our customers have specifically asked for that we've implemented that we know provides value to them. Those little details make all of the difference. And it's not always about pivoting. If you get really negative feedback from your customers in this stage, then maybe it's time to put this on the back burner and start a different MVP, completely different solution. This can also prevent you from making a mistake and investing too heavily into a final version of an MVP that the market just really doesn't want. This could save you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars alone. So really dial into what your customers said about the MVP in this stage before taking things to the next step. And remember, this is an ongoing cycle. You should always be looping through this build, measure, learn, build, measure, learn, build, measure, learn feedback loop because it will help you build a better product than any of your competition and better than anything else that's out there on the market. Now, I wanted to quickly touch on one success story that used the lean startup methodology. And that startup is called Dropbox. I'm sure you have probably heard of them before. They are a cloud-based storage system for digital files. And this MVP method has actually taken them to be a multi-billion-dollar valuation company. And that's something that I'm striving towards, to continue to use this lean startup methodology to get the best product out there in terms of software and then take it to new highs. Even in my own story, you would be able to see that this had been the most cost-effective way to build a software had I built a fully dialed in product and taken it to market when it was absolutely perfect. I may have never gotten to market because I would have always been trying to perfect something that needed feedback from my actual customers. And by doing this, I had not only been able to bootstrap the company, but I've been able to build a company that is based around the core wants of my customer. Not what I think they want, but what they actually want. And that has contributed so much success to our company that I don't even know how to explain the value. So it's almost hard to believe how much of a win-win scenario the lean startup methodology can be, because not only are you not spending money up front and you're not wasting all this money on products and different features and this and that customers don't even want, but you're also building a better product on the back end. So you're saving money up front, you're making more money on the back end, and you're making money sooner. There's no downside to this methodology. A lot of people have this thing in their head where it has to be perfect. I have to raise money. I have to build this. I have to go into debt to build this company, to build this business. And that's not true. Start small. Roll the cash back in, roll the cash back in, roll the feedback back in, roll the feedback back in, and build the better company that way with less money. And I promise you, you will be in a better spot if you follow this methodology. All right, guys. So I want you to let me know in the comments if you plan on following this or if you have in the past. And remember, stay adaptable, learn continuously, and don't be afraid to pivot when you need to. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do put a lot of research into these videos and these scripts and take time to do the editing. So if you got any value from this whatsoever, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It helps me out. I would love to keep making more of these, and let me know in the comments if you guys have any other topics you want me to present on. Happy to do so. Happy to bring in any feedback that I have from my companies. and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.